Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Outs here. It's Monday morning. I got a preview. We're playing again. Finally, the Raptors are back in action after 5 days off against Miami Heat in Miami this tonight. This is part of the in-season tournament games. This is a game that was just made from the results of last week in the quarterfinals when the Miami Heat lost to the Orlando Magic and we lost to the Knicks. So we're playing against each other. Now, Miami is a pretty good team. Their record is similar to ours. They're just below us in the standings. And, well, they're kind of going through a similar thing as us right now. They have lost 4 out of their last 5 games, and they have lost to teams that are not all that. Let's just say they've lost to Sacramento, and they've lost to, Orlando twice in this losing streak also. So Miami Heat are in some ways are very much in a similar position as the Raptors right now. They got to a place where they are just losing a whole bunch. And well, they're trying to fix the ship. So they're in a very, very mirroring place to where we are right now with things as far as that. So yeah, let's get right into it. I'm not gonna mess around. Let's do the latest lineup news and also the ref report and get this all set up and going. You guys can hear me all right, right? The mic's working. Check, mic check. All right, good. Because I was rushing to get this thing on here. You ever turn your computer on and it wants to do like 10 minutes of updates all of a sudden, and you're like, I don't have time for this. I'd like to go ahead and start doing what I'd like to do. Yeah, that's this morning for me. And that's why I'm not 5 minutes earlier than the stream start, because the stupid computer wanted to do updates all of a sudden. So anyway, let's get to it. All right, yesterday we found out, well, actually we found out a couple days ago that Jamison Battle is probable for today's game. His ankle had been feeling better, and he practiced with the Raptors on Saturday, and they had practice yesterday too, and they got on the plane and came up here. It's really, really good to see those guys get that practice in, and we had some good practice interviews yesterday with Ochai Agbaji, and it's really good to hear Ochai talk about things and get the interview because we don't always hear from him. And also Sandro getting a practice interview yesterday. We'll go over that a little bit more. RJ is still out today, guys. He's been ruled out for sure for this Miami game. AJ Lawson is also on the injury list right now, undisclosed, but will be available for Thursday's game against the Lakers. Wait, that's old. Yeah, AJ's been sitting out against the teams for the 905, and he did not play yesterday. And hopefully, maybe he'll play tomorrow. Also, news and notes, Jonathan Mobo's been recalled to the Raptors for today's game. So he is in Miami and available to Coach Darko on the Raptors. Jonathan Mobo doing two-way stuff, even though he's not a two-way. He's not a two-way. Yeah, so, I'll speculate that, we're going to have our starters, our normal starters, IQ, Brandon, Scotty, and Yak, because no IQ on the injury list. He should be healthy and fine now. Maybe we'll see Ochai starting today. I'd like to see that. If I have my choice in the small forward to start for the Raptors today, I'd like Agbaji, because in some ways we're thinking about our old friend Playoff Powell on the other side. Norman is really the driving force for the Miami Heat. And, well, let's put Agbaji on him. Let's Ochai him. Ochai him up real good. And some ways I'd say Jacoby may be able to guard him too pretty good. So I say either Darko, start Walter, or Agbaji. But I'm hoping it's Agbaji, honestly, because he's got a little bit more confidence right now than Walter. And it would be better to see Agbaji out there for defensive purposes, in my personal opinion. Miami Heat, let's go look at them. We have not seen them yet this year. This will be the first time we see them. Their injury list as such. Terry Rozier is not available. I wonder why. Yeah, this is crazy stuff, but he's still on the injury list. Terry Rozier is on the injury list for gambling issues. Pele Larson is going to miss a week because of an ankle. He is out today, so we will not see the backup European Pele. And Kasparis Yakovlevich is probable to play today due to the Raptors due to a left ankle soreness. So Kasparis is probable to play. So most of them are healthy. Tyler Hero was hurt for a lot of the year earlier, and now he's been back for a while. The starting lineup, the Miami Heat this year, is Davion Mitchell at point guard. That'll be a fun matchup to see Davion going up against Quick and Shed because of the history and the fun and the camaraderie. Tyler Hero, a friend of IQ's from Kentucky, So that's always fun to see Tyler Hero match up against Emmanuel Quickly in some sort of way, because there's a lot of love there also. Norman Powell. We don't have any love for Norman. Of course, we have tons of love for Norman Powell. And of course, he has tons of love for our team too, being the place where he cut his teeth and made himself a name in the NBA. Andrew Wiggins is the power forward. And, well, we got some love for Maple Mamba also out of Vaughn. Our guy, Andrew. We love you, Andrew. And we still keep your father, Mitchell, in our hearts. And then, of course, the big man, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson is man in the center. That's right, Mr. Aja Wilson, Bam Adebayo in the center there. The rest of their lineup looks like this off the bench. Drew Smith, Jaime Vasquez Jr., Simone Fontecchio, Kel'el Ware. Let's see, who else? Nikola Jovic, Jameer Young of Florida State. Let's see, Vladislav Golden, and Keishad Johnson. And as I said, the Miami Heat have been losing lately. They have lost their last 4 games, just like we have. They have lost their last 4 games. And these are the teams they lost to. Sacramento, 2 times to Orlando, and they lost to Cooper Flagg and Dallas in this 4-game losing streak. And they had lost to, it all went south when they lost to Detroit. Detroit beat them, and then they beat the Clippers because they got grunge match with Clippers for Norman, and they beaten the Clippers twice already this year. Yeah, Miami got it done against Norman's old team this year. But yeah, they're lost 4 games in a row, just like us. Both these teams tonight are on a 4-game losing streak. And, well, we're going to have to see who's going to fix it first. And I'd love for it to be our team fixing their 4-game losing streak right now. Let's go look at the refs. Let's see how conducive it is for that. Yeah, in the replay center in Secaucus tonight, JB DeRosa and Matt Myers. But on the ground in South Beach, our crew chief will be Carl Lane, Star Wars lover. His 15th season, number 77 out of Little Rock, Arkansas. His favorite TV show is Game of Thrones. He likes the Star Wars movies. He listens to Jay-Z, just like Big Yak. And his favorite book is Star Wars books. He likes to eat Mexican food. His favorite game is Candy Crush. He most like to visit Rome and see the 7 wonders of the world. And his hidden talent is home repair. Yeah, Carl Lane considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be his first playoff game, Game 2 of the first-round series between the 76ers and the Miami Heat on April 16th, 2018. Yeah, Carl's a pretty good ref for the Raptors normally, but unfortunately, there's an issue here because Carl is a very good ref for the Miami Heat also. So let's look at it right now. We have had Carl Lane once this season, and it was during the win streak. So we have a 1-0 record with Carl Lane so far this year. We win 55% of our games when Carl is present. Meanwhile, the Heat win 66% of their games. So 55 to 66 for the Miami Heat with the crew chief Carl Lane and the winning percentages. The second ref today is Kevin Cutler, that big ref, that big, huge ref. Number 34, number 16 seasons out of L.A., his favorite TV show is Homicide, Life on the Street. He listens to Luther Vandross. His favorite book is Positive Intelligence. His favorite meal is chicken. He'd most like to visit Africa. His bucket list is to play 20 of the top 100 golf courses in the U.S., and his hidden talent is playing the trumpet. Kevin Cutler, he considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be his first playoff game, Game 3 of the first-round series between Houston Rockets and Minnesota Timberwolves on April the 21st, 2018. Yeah, similar ref to Carl Lane for us, although worse. We did win our first game with Kevin Cutler earlier this season, so we are 1-0 with him also. We win 50% of our games. We were below 500 with Kevin Cutler, but we're even now with the same amount of wins and losses with Kevin Cutler. And meanwhile, the Miami Heat are 57% winning with Kevin Cutler. So it's a 50 to 57 split for the Miami Heat with the second ref, Kevin Cutler. The third ref is the worst ref for the Raptors, and neither one of those other guys were for us. So Jonathan Sterling, the husband, is back once again for this game. His number 17 in his 9th season out of Hampton, Virginia. He likes the movie Coming to America. He listens to Future. His favorite app is Maps. He'd like to visit Australia and dive with the Sharks, and his hidden talent is breakdancing. Jonathan Sterling officiated 6 years in the NBA G League, working the 2015 and 16 playoffs and the 2017 finals. Those were the finals we won. So Jonathan Sterling worked the Raptors 905 G League Championship Finals. He was also a member of the WNBA officiating staff for 3 years, and he's served as a FIBA official also. Yeah, Jonathan Sterling was married to Lauren Hussey Sterling. And, well, this is where his record is with us. We lost the first game he refed us this year, so he has refed us a game, and we lost it. We're 40% winning when Jonathan Sterling is present, and the Heat are 50% winning. So 40-50 for the Heat with the third ref, Jonathan Sterling. So all three refs favor the Miami Heat historically as far as their win percentages. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough sledding. We're on the road. We're against a high-quality team that's in a similar position as us. In some ways, this is a great litmus test for the Raptors on how much they really want to win this year, because they're going against it. They're going against it on the road with a bad ref crew in some ways. And also the other team has a 4-game losing streak they're trying to end also. So this is where you test your mettle, Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram and Emmanuel Quickly. How bad do you want it? Do you want it more than Tyler, Bam, and Norman? That's what I want to know today. Brandon, Emmanuel, and Scotty. Do y'all want it more than the Heat want it? Because they want the same damn thing. They want to end the bleeding. They want to stop the losing. So can you stop the losing over they want to stop the losing? This will be a good test. Spoelstra versus Rajakovic. This is not an easy task. This is the Miami Heat. And even though they're on a 4-game losing streak, they have been playing better this year, and they are a very, very tough, savvy team with some veterans on it. So this is going to be a good test for the Raptors. You cannot play with your food. You've had rest. You've had relaxation. You've got time where you should be rejuvenated. Let's see your best effort tonight. Let's see you play clean basketball, less turnovers, protecting the ball, getting to the rebounds so there's no offensive rebounds, all this stuff you need to do to improve, Raptors. Let's show a work in progress and show that the 5 days you just had off were utilized wisely to come back correctly, to come out there and win the game in Miami tonight. That's right. That's right. This is a tough task. Like I said, the refs are not the best refs, even though they're nice refs normally. I mean, I like Carl Lane. Kevin Cutler's not, and Jonathan Sterling's not a good ref. But the crew chief is a good guy. Carl Lane's a good dude. He's a good dude. All right, let's check in with the chat and see what y'all are saying this morning on a Monday morning. Raptors playing Miami tonight. Trevor J saying this: never let a win get to your head and a loss get to your heart. It's all about a part of the game. Stick to the plan and stay focused. That's right. You know, that's the crazy thing about Raptors fans and Raptors Nation. They ride and die like a roller coaster with the wins and losses of the team, and they overreact both ways. And the guys on the team, you know, it probably frustrates some of these fans that overreact and Chicken Little, because the team guys are so nonchalant. Well, it's the NBA. And Scotty's saying this in practice interview on Saturday. It's so great because it's just the next game. And in some ways, he hated this break. Scotty said that on Saturday. He said, I hated having so much time off. I just want to get back to the next game. That's what Scotty's saying. So it's like, look, this is a roller coaster. It's ups and downs, but you know what? It's up to you how much emotional investment you're putting in the roller coaster to go up and down with it. And a lot of y'all aren't doing this right because you're wrecking your lives. Because you're, oh my gosh, they're losing. Oh, I'm miserable. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Separate your life from the Raptors and be happy on your own independently of what they're doing, wins and losses. Then you won't act all out of pocket in your reactions to how they're doing. Because in some ways, they have a very grounded approach to it because they can't go overreactive like Raptors Nation. Oh, my gosh, because what kind of pro would they be? What kind of person would they be? It's immature to act that way, Raptors Nation, to go crazy over every single loss or get all crazy over every win. Either way, stay even-keeled and go through the season like the players do with wisdom and grace and understanding. There's going to be different places you're going to be in during the season. Just get used to them and just work through them. And you know what? You can be on top of the world with a 7, 8, 9 game win streak. And then you can be on the bottom of the world when you got a 3 or 4 game losing streak. So you just got to ride the waves and go with it and have some dignity. Stop acting so goofy about every little thing, Raptors Nation. Seriously, be more like Scott. And just ride the wave and look forward to the next opportunity, the next game, because that's what Scotty's doing today. He's very much looking forward to an opportunity to take the court in Miami and beat the Miami Heat. That's right. That's right. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor J. Blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Trevor's saying this, happy game day. Let's beat the Heat tonight. I'm going to the game. That's right, because Trevor lives down there. So Trevor's representing RFF style, coming in with his entourage. I'm sure he's bringing like a bunch of people like he normally does. Maybe not, but he usually goes to the game with a group, and they're usually, coming in with the right energy. So Trevor, you go down to the game today and you kick some ass as a fan, and you do what I would do. That defense out there every single time Miami has the ball. If you can, I mean, it's different on the road. I get it. You're going to start yelling defense against the home team. Some people around you might be looking at you funny. Like, what is this guy doing? What is he doing? Trevor, I want to ask you, when you go to games on the road like this, you rep us, right? You rep us, right? When you come into that arena, you're wearing the Raptors red, right? When you go to Madison Square Garden, when you go to Vegas Summer League, when you go on the road for the Raptors in the United States, are you repping the Raptors red, Trevor? I'm sure you are. I'm sure you've got your allegiance very much prominently there. And you know what? If you can get away with defense chants for us, do it. I know it's tough, and you may be in an island of your own in a visiting building as far as trying to root for the Raptors on defense. But I mean, every little bit could help. I don't know. Let's see. Trevor's saying this: 905 dangerous team. You can strike first, but in the end, they'll get you. 13-0. I love it. Let's do this right now. Thanks for the segue, producer Trevor. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do the stars of the game for yesterday. Since we watched the game with me yesterday on the channel, we did a watch along for the game. It was fantastic. Very close game. Most of the whole game was very close. And at the end, we had the Raptors 905 take care of things in clutch, and it was really led by Chucky Hepburn. Chucky Hepburn is my number one star of the game yesterday. He had a double-double. It was fantastic. He took over at the end and made a big three, and then he made another big shot, and he wasn't afraid to do that. In fact, he was calling his own number. He was measured, and he was confident, and he went out there and took over the game in the last 4 minutes and made sure the Raptors 905 got a 10-point lead to close the game out right. 31 minutes for Chucky, 22 points, 8 of 9 shooting. That's fantastic. He's been shooting so poorly most of the season that an 8 of 9 game for him is a huge benchmark. 4 of 5 from 3. He made his only free throw, which was late. 3 rebounds, 13 assists with 3 turnovers and 4 steals. A plus 23, the highest plus minus on the team also. I'm pretty sure Chucky got the chain last night, but I didn't get confirmation for sure. But I'm pretty sure Chucky got that chain last night for 905 on their 13th victory, the Baker's dozen. And they're going to come back and play tomorrow, 11 a.m., Westchester Knicks. And I hope you'll join me because I'm going to do a live watch-along call, play-by-play for that game also. So, yeah, salute to you, Chucky Hepburn, number one star of the game. My second star of the game for yesterday is Jonathan Mobo. This man is playing all over the place. He'll play in Mississauga, or no, he'll play in Maine yesterday. He's going to come to Miami tonight, and then he's probably going to be heading to Westchester, New York for tomorrow morning. If he is, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that turnaround's too crazy. They're going to put Jonathan Mobo on a plane from Miami after the game tonight to be there for Andrew Jones the first thing in the morning tomorrow morning. I doubt it. If they do that I'll be very shocked. And, you know, I would start talking about Jonathan Mobo and the likes of Morris Peterson as an Iron Man, because this man is doing double duty all over the place. Last year, Battle was doing this the most. Battle was really jumping between both the teams the most. But this year is definitely Mobo, and he's had stretches where he's played 4 games in 3 days. So I would love to see this. I don't know if he'll do it. It may be not nice to do it to him, but say, hey, Jonathan, you're playing against the Heat tonight, but we're going to put you on a plane. And we're going to fly you to Westchester to play there next. Or maybe he just doesn't go to New York and there's no Mobo against the Knicks tomorrow morning, and he just sticks in Florida because that's where the next stop is for the Raptors 905. They're going to be playing in Orlando for the tournament, the tip-off tournament. So I can see that. Let's let Jonathan just hang around. 26 minutes for Jonathan, 12 points on 5 of 8 shooting. He hit his only free throw, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, and 3 steals, and 3 blocks. That's 6 stocks for Jonathan in the game yesterday. 3 blocks, 3 steals. Scotty Barnes, you should be so proud of your friend Jonathan doing what he's doing, a +5 in that game. He's my second star. The third star of the game for the 905 game we watched yesterday is David Roddy. That's right. He was the guy who broke the can open in the game. Nobody could score for the Raptors 905 and the starters for the first 5 minutes of the game. So they put David Roddy in, and he hits a three and comes in and breaks the seal and starts the game with scoring right there. 32 minutes for David, 15 points on 5 of 8 shooting, 3 of 6 at 3, 1 of 3 at the free throw line. That was that flashing window, like that room, that mystery room was messing up Roddy on his free throws, flickering the lights. Like, what was that? That was crazy. 6 rebounds. No, wait, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 turnovers, and a block for David Roddy in a very good support role off the bench. He's just been solid for 905 during this 13-game win streak and keep going. My 4th star of the game is Tyreke Key. He started. And Tyreke Key is a phenomenal scorer. 11 points for Tyreke in 22 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. So all 3 of his shots made were 3-pointers, and they're helpful. He made his only free throw for 2 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 1 block, a plus 12 for Tyreke Key, who's been starting in the place of AJ Lawson while he's been out. And it works. Some people are like, why would you start Tyreke and not David Roddy? It's because Tyreke Key's been on the team for 2 years. And in some ways, that's what Andrew Jones wants to do, is put another shooter in the starting lineup like AJ Lawson would be. So that's it right there. The 5th star for the 905-13 victory is Tyson Degenhart. I got to give this guy credit because just like Roddy, he came in and hit a 3 right away too to help off the bench. And 14 minutes for Tyson, 8 points on 3 of 3 shooting, perfect from the field, including 2 threes that he hit. And he's that's it. That's what Tyson did last night. Going over the rest of the box score, some honorable mentions. We'll give an honorable mention to Olivier Sarr, who hit a key 3 late. 15 points for him, 6 of 14 shooting. He was 1 of 5 from 3, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, a plus 10. Elijah Martin had a tough shooting night, but he did hit some stuff late that helped them seal the victory. 3 for 14 overall from the field, 10 points for Elijah on 2 of 8 shooting. He had 1 rebound, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, and a steal. Then going to the bench further, Juju Reese was good at times. He gets an honorable mention. 14 minutes for him, 9 points, 2 of 3 from the field, made all 3 of his free throws, 6 rebounds, and 4 of them were offensive. Patrick McCaw, always fun to see him get in the game. 12 minutes, 2 points for him with 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 1 steal, a plus 1. Quincy Guerrier, also very solid role player contributions off the bench with 2 points in 18 minutes, 1 of 2, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. And then Jarkel Joyner, 6 points on 17 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and a minus 18. Yeah, really good job by the 905 securing the victory in a close game that was a real battle throughout the whole game. Monique was right that this was going to be a tough game, and it exactly went down like that. But 905 did things right. Coach Jones is doing a great job coaching them. On the other side, Kendall Brown with 23 points on 10 of 15 shooting. Max Shulga with 16. Yeah, the tail of the tape really is that the Raptors 905 just did a good job in these areas. They outshot them in threes with 15 threes. They got a couple more points off the free throw line, even though they missed a bunch of free throws at the end of the game. They messed up their free throw percentage. They were perfect from the line at halftime, but when they switched sides and that weird mystery room started flashing the lights, they started missing them then. They did get out rebounded, but the assisted turnover ratio is pretty similar too. Turnovers were a big key because like the 905 had 6 less turnovers than Maine. And that was big deal. And that's really kind of where they won. So, yeah, just looking back on the game yesterday, the stars of the game there, Chucky Hepburn, star of the game for 905 and their 13th victory. Stargate is here. Good morning, Stargate. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Let's get back to business. Win tonight. That's right. The Miami Heat are no slouch. We got to take this very seriously. This is an older team than our team. And we have to always account for this. This is a team that in some ways has older experience and more playoff experience, and they're a team that's coached by a coach that's one of the best coaches in the league, if not the best coach in the league. So this is not an opponent we take lightly. I know that Darko relishes the opportunity to go up against Coach Eric Spoelstra because he really does see him as one of the top coaches in the league, and that I know Darko, when he battles the Miami Heat, he gets a lot of satisfaction off victories over them. And, our series with them in the last few years have been really tight. and really competitive, crazy overtime games, multiple overtime games, lots of fracases and pushing and shoving. Caleb Martin, Koloko, all this kind of stuff. So we're gonna see a good game tonight. I know we will, especially since both the teams are rested, and we're gonna probably see the best of them. So let's go Raptors. Let's get the job done. We're back to business, baby. That's right. Nameless is in the house. My man, the paisano, the plumber is here. When the fire is RJ back? When the fire is RJ back? Because Lord knows we need him. I mean, I'd like to see this guy back this week. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Let's not waste our lives here. Let's get Rowan Barrett Jr. back in the court because the Raptors need all hands on deck. And he is definitely one of the best players on our team and somebody that we absolutely have missed since he's been out for sure. Yeah, I hope he's coming back this week. Honestly, there'll be an update, but he's definitely not playing tonight. We know that. We know that. Stargate saying, should we start being concerned about RJ? Not considered. Should we start being considered? Yeah, we should be considered as a top team in the East with RJ on our team. But you're saying, should we be concerned is what you probably meant. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. This is all temporary. This is just like when people get hurt, we just got to wait for them to come back. And then when they come back, we'll see them back and we'll be like, yay, they're back. I think that's really kind of what this is. It's just that it's been such a stark difference between the 9-game win streak and what's happened recently that everybody's just like miserable. And they just, in some ways, we really want him back soon. And, when he does come back and we see the results of him coming back, we'll feel better. We'll feel better, guys. We will. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay's in the house. Thank you for supporting the channel, Shaq Lindsay. This losing streak and listening to Darko yesterday has changed my perspective. Tone in the interview on this team was to be patient, or like Scotty said, we haven't seen our true potential. Yeah, that's a big, big part of it. We can. This is the crazy thing. If you think about it this way, Shaq Lindsay, we're a team that's very young and just kind of gelling still. Jakob made it very clear on Saturday also that we haven't spent a whole lot of time with Brandon yet. That Brandon's only 20 games into gelling with us. So there's a lot of things to get better. But this is the big, huge first burst is a big, huge 9-game win streak. That's a foretelling thing for the possibilities for the future. It wasn't going to be like we're just going to win forever again. But this is crazy because this is a young team. And in some ways, the 9-game win streak is more foretelling of possibilities and potential in the future that Scotty knows and he's talking about. So, setbacks are inevitable. And we're having one right now. But the foot forward, let's think about it this way. What's the analogy? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Well, if you really think about the win streak we just did in the season and where we jumped to, and the fact that we have a 15-11 record, and that most fans, if they didn't see the win streak and the dichotomy and the night and day of the two different things, and we just had the record, it was more spread out and even, we'd be very happy right now to be a 15-11 team, considering the seasons we've had in recent years. So let's keep it in perspective. We got spoiled during a win streak. And in some ways, that win streak wasn't 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That was 4 steps forward, 1 step back. And that's the difference right there. So, yeah, there's a lot to feel real good about in potential, even though currently and presently we may be a little down because we lost 4 games in a row and they were at home. That sucked. Yeah, I hated that we lost all those games at home. That sucked. But that's the thing. And I like that Shaq Lindsay, from the interviews, listening to Darko and Scotty talk about it, he gets a bigger perspective of it all. Yeah, I wish more fans would be like us and be able to see the whole big picture, because they wouldn't be acting so immature then in some ways on that. Smooth's bringing up something very sad and tragic and shocking that happened yesterday. Rest in peace, Rob Reiner. Truly heartbreaking. This is really crazy, this story. Apparently his son murdered him and his wife yesterday in the afternoon. His son, Nick, who's 32 years old, had drug and alcohol problems and mental health problems. And they had been helping him in different ways. But sadly, Nick killed his parents yesterday, apparently. It came home and stabbed them to death. And this is an icon in some ways. Rob Reiner is one of those cases where a son did better than his dad, really, in some ways. Carl Reiner was amazing. Carl Reiner was a comedy giant who really made his name, and his son came in. But that's tough to be his son in the shadow of your dad. but he found his own success that was in some ways more expansive and even bigger than his father's. And that's really hard legacy to live in that family. You know, the Reiner brothers, both of them, the older brother Jake and Nick, and even their daughter, they all had a little bit of like, well, you see what he did after his dad. What do you do? There's a little bit of pressure there. And I'm not trying to justify what the guy did because it's absolutely horrendous and horror and awful. But the kid lived homeless at times in his adult life. And, you know, having that stark difference between the extremely successful rest of your family and you are living in a car or living in the street and stuff like that. I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm just trying to look at the symptoms and what happens to get to this point. He obviously has had a mental breakdown. He did something absolutely horrific and tragic and really, really sad. So, yeah, I feel so bad. This is a man who brought us The Princess Bride. This is a man who gave us a character called Meathead on Archie Bunker's show. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. It is absolutely tragic. And not only that, he's just a really good human being in a lot of ways, because I know in a lot of different places he had an influence, not just as a director and an actor. He had a lot of influence in politics. He had a lot of influence in social circles, and he was out there as a force of good. And it's sad. It's tragic. And you never want to hear these kind of stories. You know, the pieces that are picked up now by the rest of the family after this really crazy incident. It's just my heart goes out to the whole Reiner family, especially the other siblings, and even to Nick, because at some point Nick is going to wake up and realize what he did in his psychotic haze, and he's going to have a hard time living with himself for the rest of his life. So yeah, it's very, very serious tragedy with Rob Reiner and his wife being murdered yesterday by their son, the middle son, Nick Reiner. Yeah, rest in peace. Sad, man. Anyway, let's go. Daddy Gates loves that I introduced Bam Adebayo as Mr. Aja Wilson. That's right. They need to make a super basketball baby. That's right. They could be the American Mings. That's right. Just like Yao's parents, they were put together. They were both very tall basketball players, and the Chinese government came to these two people and paired them. That's actually the truth. Yao Ming's parents were arranged and put together because they were the two tallest people in China, I think. And they made Yao Ming as an experiment. Well, we could do this, America. You've got Aja and Bam. You could make the American Yao Ming with them, except it wouldn't be arranged. It would be organic. But yeah, just think about the baby they could make. Seriously, y'all. Aja Wilson is the greatest WNBA player ever. And Bam Adebayo is a very good NBA player himself. In fact, that's the crazy thing. She's better than him. That's one of those stages. That's why I say Mr. Aja Wilson, because she's better than him. In her sport and where she plays, she has better accolades. That's for sure, right? She does, doesn't she? Doesn't she? Stargate's saying this. I would love to have a Star Wars conversation with Carl Lane. Man, I'm sure he'd love that too. That's what y'all love to do, geeks and nerds. We love to geek out on talking about things and stuff. I know, I'm with y'all. I have my nerdy, geeky subjects that I can geek out on too. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Carl Lane has all kinds of different opinions on different eras of Star Wars, whether it's the early movies, the later movies, the takeover of Disney in the recent years, and all the TV shows. You know, Carl Lane probably has the Star Wars Marvel comics from the 80s. They're absolutely badass. You know, I bet you he does. I'll bet you he does. Yeah, we always have great competitive games against the Heat. Should be a good one. Yeah, some of it is, you know, Scotty is from that area down there. This is the thing. He's very clear about his relationship with the Miami Heat. He wasn't a Heat fan when he grew up. He was a Kobe fan. He's more of a player fan than a team fan, and he was definitely a Kobe fan. But that doesn't necessarily mean Scotty dreamed of playing for the Lakers. And he didn't dream of playing for the Heat. He made it very clear on Twitch a long time ago, because Heat fans were coming at him after his rookie year. And Scotty Barnes' Twitch family 2022 summer, they were coming at him hard. And he was saying, look, I grew up here, but that doesn't mean I'm a Heat fan, y'all. So, you know, there's no love lost for Scotty for the Miami Heat, because it's not a real thing. And he has never, ever publicly endorsed the Miami Heat or even had any overtures. He's definitely a Kobe fan. And he definitely wore Kobe jerseys when he was young. but there's no telling if he ever wore a single thing for the Miami Heat, even though he grew up in Palm Beach. Just so y'all know. Just so y'all know. Yeah, Leonardo's back. Go Raptors. That's right, Leonardo. Good to see you. Raptor freak, Leonardo Paynes. Good to see you on a Monday morning. Jimmy Pope is here. The Pope of Positivity is in the house. Let's keep it positive. That's right, baby. I'm going to be honest. The excuses are a little exhausting. Oh, it's not keeping it positive. We built a standard of how we play, and now that we are losing and playing terrible defense, Darko says to be patient. Seems soft. No, it's young players, Jimmy. And he's exactly right. We have a lot of players. We have one of the youngest teams in the league. And in some ways, like, look, it's not as much as I wish it was instant rice and we could just cook it in a couple minutes. It's not like that. We got to slow roast this barbecue. And to get and do it right, we have to do it the right way. And there's, like I just said, there's going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Except I feel like we just did 4 steps forward, 1 step back. So can we handle that? The progress is there, Jimmy, but the setbacks are a part of the process also. And that's why he's keeping a level head. You could say he's being soft about it, and we're playing terrible defense. Well, we were playing terrible defense because the guys were exhausted. They played 39 games or like something like that in like they didn't play 39 games. They played 20 they played 19 games in like a 30-day period or something like that. It's crazy the amount of games they jammed into November up until last week. They started like in the beginning of the season, and it's really been every other day, and they have been just going crazy. And they hit fatigue, and it was obvious when they played Charlotte in Toronto the day after the Lakers how tired they were. That's where all the shots start missing, like layups and open shots get missed because they're fatigued. They're absolutely gassed because this lifestyle is hard to play every other day, and the body and recovery. And it just accumulated over this long period of games. Getting 5 days off is huge in this last week. And hopefully we'll see a very different team tonight. It's a much tighter team. Maybe you'll see way better defense, and you'll see way better like shot making as far as open shots getting executed. That's what we have to understand about this recent losing streak is we've been running on empty in our gas tanks with our majority of our team. And, you know, you can say whatever. Oh, the team isn't built right by Bobby. Oh, Darko should have did minutes better, or he did Thibodeau to them or something like, you know, you can say whatever you want with that. But the truth is, this is a young team. They're going to make mistakes. They're learning. And we got tired. We got really tired. And these can sound like excuses, but they're reality. They're reality. Yeah, we need to be patient. We're not going to be competing for the championship on a realistic level this year. If there's a crazy way that it happens, it could happen. But for the most part, we should be expecting we're still in a rebuild, and progress will come in waves, but so will setbacks. And we all have to understand this and be more mature about reacting to it. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Reggie's saying this. Miami is probably winning tonight. Norman's going to have a very big game. Hope I'm wrong, though. Yeah, why you? Let's not do this, Reg. Let's not do this, my guy. Let's think positively. You know, these guys are sick of losing. Scotty's sick of losing. He don't want to lose anymore. He doesn't want to lose anymore. So they're going to come back with a good effort, and hopefully we see a really good job. Once again, having RJ out and the fatigue at the same time has been huge in the outcomes recently. Huge, you know. Jimmy's saying this, not hating, but I think we need to have an attack mentality, not okay, guys type mentality. No, I get what you're saying, and they do have this. I mean, think about how Darko over the last 2.5 years has instilled a go-get-it attitude. Like a Darko coach team has a characteristic of relentless defense. In fact, he does such a good job getting these guys to expend so much energy that's part of the reason why they got so fatigued at the end of this run up to the knockout round against the Knicks. Because, look, we are playing a style of game that reporters were asking, is this sustainable for the whole year to go out like and do that? This is definitely not characterizing the whole situation correctly, Jimmy. This Darko gets these guys to do effort beyond what most coaches can get their players to do in the team, their teams. So this isn't how I see it. I think if we're thinking about just what happened recently, you've got to really factor in the absence of RJ and the built-up fatigue of the schedule grind. And that's going to make a lot of stuff look bad. Like the defense is not going to be as good if people are absolutely tired, right? They can't go all out like they did at the beginning of the season or in summer league or in preseason. So that's That's part of it right there. Now, let's see tonight after 5 days of rest. We'll revisit this tomorrow, Jimmy, and see if they are not put in the effort correctly after being rested and being able to do this, then yeah, we'll talk about this in a more this is a problem. I'll tell you right now, if they do that tonight, and which I don't think they will, Darko's going to let them hear it. He's not going to be nice to them if they had 5 days off and all of a sudden they're still dogging it. Seriously, he will lay into them. Trust me. It's not all happy and cheery. Trust me. Even Sandro said it yesterday in his interview. It's like, look, Darko's been a great coach. One of the things I really have been happy about being on Toronto is they're very upfront with me and they're very communicative. Darko tells me exactly what he expects of me, and he's very encouraging. He allows me to be me. In other places like Milwaukee and San Antonio, I was looking over my shoulder and I was always kind of worried that, I might get shafted because he's a guy who came in the league the tough way and he's had to earn a real contract. And, he was very open and honest about a couple of times in the last few years where he felt like he had to go look at Europe and maybe have to go play somewhere other than the NBA. But Sandro made it very clear, I want to play in the NBA. This is my dream. I could easily just leave and go and play and get a lot more money and play in Europe right now. But I'm trying to make an NBA dream happen. And he appreciates Darko for being upfront with him and communicative to him. And he also appreciates the Toronto Raptors franchise for giving him a real chance on a regular basis in the rotation to get playing more and more in the NBA. So, yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing right there. It's pretty interesting right there. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying this. I have to admit the winning streak got me excited, made me change my expectations in finishing in the top of the East and possibly making a deep playoff run. Well, listening to the interviews yesterday, the body, it's tough, man, because we live in the moment, right? And we live with how we're feeling. And of course, it made us feel like we're invincible. Of course, it made us feel like, yeah, we could actually really do this. I mean, I was, talking about on here. I still think we can. I think that it's just that we have to be realistic with our expectations as it goes and temper them or make them go up as it goes also. That's the thing. Darko can't set it a target right for the whole end of the season for these guys to aim for. That's not the way you do this. You've got to really kind of just progress each day, like they always say. Just work on every day, 1% better every day, every day. That's really the smart way to do it because you can't see the end product. You can't understand who the Raptors are going to be in March because it's variable. It could be a lot of different levels. And if we do the work right and we do the 1% better every day, that's supposed to add up to us being a much better team around March or April. So it's really the same way. And if the fans could mirror the team and the players and how we look at this, that would be much easier to weather everything. Because it really is like Darko said this. They like the reporters come at him with questions like, what are your expectations? What do you want the Raptors to do this year? What would be success? And he never answers that question because he knows that's a trap. If Michael Grange asks him that question and then he says, yeah, we're going to be in the playoffs and we're going to make the second round. And I'll say, oh, that be just a nightmare and all kinds of pressure. It's not necessary to put on the team right now. So it's kind of like let them grow, let them be themselves, and let them do what they're going to do, and we're going to be fine. The one thing we got to remember, guys, is just like in our lives, be grateful to have a roof over your head and food on the table. Well, let's be grateful to have a Raptors team and a team with a winning record and a team that's mostly healthy and not toxic and that is that's got a lot of promise. Let's look at things in the gratitude side of things and not so much of the scarcity and like, oh, but it's this and this and this. No, we're heading in the right direction and we have a lot of positive things coming up for the Toronto Raptors. And we just got to keep the big picture and the whole perspective in a mentality of gratitude. That'll help you in Raptors Nation. Seriously, that'll help you right there. If you look at the whole big picture and understand we're heading the right direction. That's the whole main thing right there. That's it right there. Yeah, Reggie's saying this. The body language without RJ and hobbled Jakob, it doesn't bode well. The body language is absolutely exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. I could tell in one play where Brandon was just walking up the court and he couldn't even get across half court. He just stood there. He's like, you can't even get across half court. They're tired. They were tired. They were so exhausted. And that Charlotte game in Toronto after the Lakers game was one of the most tired games I've ever seen the Raptors ever play in their history. Seriously, any year. That was one of the most exhausted Raptor teams from the start of the game I've ever seen in the whole entire history of the franchise. Seriously, y'all. Seriously. All right, let's keep going here. Jimmy's saying this. All right, hang on. It jumped ahead. Let me make sure I get my place. Let's just get back to the winning column and the vibes will be better. Yeah, that heals everything. We all know this. Everybody's just so results oriented. But what if I told you the big result is the one that ultimately matters? But what about all the micro results that are happening in the middle of it, even when we're not totally winning? There's all kinds of changes and progress happening with the Raptors team all the time. Even if we don't win, there's people gelling and doing things and getting better individually and stuff like that. So it's like I said, man, a rebuild is not easy and isn't quick. And even if we felt like we were doing it quick because we got a 9-game win streak, that was a mirage to an extent. And we got the reality that we're still a young core and we still have learning lumps to go through. And that's part of it right there. So, yeah, we're going to be fine. And I agree with you, man. We get back to the winning column, everything's going to feel a whole lot better. We lose tonight, we lose our 5th game in a row. Let's not chicken little and say, oh, wow, this is this and this. Somebody's going to overreact to it either way. Somebody's going to overreact to it. That's right. Smooth saying this, Miami's better than I thought. Norman's the real deal. Yeah. Yeah. I actually had penciled them in this summer to be a play-in team, or maybe even just barely out of the playoffs. But they're better than that. In fact, they're going to take a spot higher than Cleveland, I think, in some ways. It's like Cleveland's actually a pretender this year. Cleveland's a pretender. I didn't expect that because I was really thinking Cleveland would be near the top with New York. But I don't think they are. I think that the Donovan Mitchell overuse is going to really hurt them this year. And there's a lot of the things that went well for them last year are not going well this year. And I think Miami, in some ways, is a better team than Cleveland all of a sudden. That's interesting to me. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying that they lost to New York, and some deep meditation has taught me to be patient. We are a young team, and change doesn't come overnight. Exactly. Shaq Lindsay's getting it, man. He's getting it. He's understanding this. It's a big, huge picture. And, look, you can look at the whole era of Darko and as a coach and how we're building. Think about the first year. Think about the confusion of holding on to Siakam and Anunoby and then switching in the middle of the year and just trying to restart with new people all of a sudden with RJ and Emmanuel. And then think about the next year, last year, and think about the injuries and also the building and like learning more and then waiting for Brandon. And now this year, it's like it's a progress. There's definitely progress, and we're definitely going in the right direction. And it's just the journey is not quick and it's not easy. It has to have its obstacles and it has to have its trials and tribulations. And I love it. Shaq Lindsay's he's meditating to figure this out. I love that. That's the way to go right there. That's it. Reggie's saying, I'm getting through the season knowing that no matter what, the Raptors are better and learning. Exactly, y'all. This is great. We need to package this up and make every Raptor fan watch this, what we're talking about right now. If they could just listen to us right now and get the bigger picture and just get that perspective, it'll help a lot because people are just so crazy. Some of the stuff they say on Reddit and social media and different places, they're just crazy overreacting to things and not understanding this isn't going to be the way it is, the way we are now. And we may not be exactly who we were in the 9-game win streak either, but we're somewhere in between. And I'd like to think as time goes on, we'll be more like the team that did the 9-game win streak. That's what I'm saying. What is that? Darko dinner times 3? We got Darko dinner times 3. That's a steak dinner at the CN Tower. Ain't no pizza. That's right. There ain't no pizza. Just think about that. We were just trying to scrap together 3 games to get a pizza party. This is what people were saying a couple years ago. And then we reel off a 9-game win streak this season already. That's progress. That is progress right there. That's it. Fiercey's here. Good morning to MJ. Good morning, fam, and happy game day. I'm serene and very happy. We're number 5 in the standings and a 360 from last year. I'm grateful. Raptors 905 came back. Winning team plays. That's right. Yeah. And once again, another perspective of understanding and, you know what? In some ways, confidence. Fiercey is expressing confidence in our team and that we're going to be fine. And I love that. I love that so much. That's right. Very happy. We're number 5 in the standings. It's tough, though. It's very, very competitive. And some journalists are pointing it out that the Raptors need to get going because they can drop in the Eastern standings if they don't start winning soon. And I'll tell you that right now, that's a thing that should light a fire under Scotty's ass to go and get a win and start watching those standings because the Sixers are right there. The Miami Heat are right there. The Orlando Magic are right there. And we can't have too much room for error because we will start sliding in our position in the Eastern Conference. So if that's something that can make you more competitive and more willing to win, the will to win, Scotty Barnes, go and look at that and see that and say, you know what? Look, if we lose to Miami, they flip over us in the Eastern Conference tonight. If we lose to them, these got to be things you got to play for and think about. Think about these consciously and use them as motivation. That's what I need to see from you guys. Because seriously, you need to know this, that you're in a precarious position in a very jammed up Eastern Conference, and wins and losses are going to mean a lot right now with where you jump around in the playoff seeding. So just, you want to set the tone right and get in the right place for the end of the year. That's right. That's right. Enjoy the game, Fiercely saying to Trevor. I love that. Always have Raptors t-shirts on at the game. Good. That's what I thought, Trevor. I knew you repped. I didn't know. See, listen, Trevor's a classy guy. Trevor does hair for very important people. And I'm sure Trevor dresses to the nines in like the most luxurious and amazing clothes. I bet you Trevor's always looking fresh. I bet you he is. I bet you he's always got a style on. And it's just like, because he knows style because of what he does for his job. So he better look good as a person with what he's wearing. And I know he's repping us right. Wherever he goes, he's got that Raptors stuff on. Just like this guy's got it on every day. I got it on. Trevor's got it on too. That's right. That's my commissioner of fun. That's right. That's right. I knew it. I don't even know why I even doubted it. Lex, he's wearing Raptors gear when he goes to those games. He is. He is. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's saying this. We are far from a finished product, but our product is much better than it was a year ago. For sure. Speak the truth. In the offseason, they were saying we had no direction. Now they're being impatient by directing us to get AD. This is a great point by Shaq Lindsay because he's saying, like, there's always some sort of weird messing with us, with the press. And they would say, okay, what is this team with Brandon? I don't understand them. This has kind of been their argument a couple summers in a row where they look at the Raptors on paper and they say, I don't get this team. And that's all they're analyzing. They're just saying, oh, the Raptors, I don't get them. And that's what they'll put on ESPN and Bleacher Report. It's like they're a weird team. I don't get them. Well, you got them for a while this season in a 9-game win streak. Do you get them now? Now it pivots to let's destroy them by trying to get them to trade the hometown hero and their only center for a broken down AD. Yeah, that's what, and it really is calculated because you see them targeting. And who do they want us to trade so much? RJ and Jakob. Why is that? Why are there so many forces out there that talk about trade RJ, trade Jakob? You know why? Because other teams' fans see when our guys get hurt, who helps us the most. And we've seen Jakob Poeltl go out a couple times in the last few years, and it's no secret how important he is to our team. So why wouldn't Celtics and Knicks fans go around and make up a bunch of bullshit about y'all should trade Jakob or act like they're fans in Raptors Nation saying we need to trade Jakob now? Why wouldn't they do that? Doesn't that make sense, y'all? And RJ, we're finding out how important RJ is. They already wanted us to trade RJ because he's a hometown hero, and they don't like the feelings that we get from having a guy who's purely 100% for us. And in some ways, his energy on our team, along with AJ's, ensconces more of our players to respect and love playing for the Raptors because that's RJ's team. That's where he's from. That's his family. It's where he's from. And in some ways, having a guy like RJ on the Raptors demands more respect for the franchise internally because it's like, whoa, don't disrespect. We've had people that played for the Raptors in the past that did not totally respect the city, the country, or the team, but they were getting a paycheck and they were playing here and they put up with the cold winters and we're here, especially in the early expansion years. Why would Rudy Gay say nobody want to go to Toronto? See, RJ gets a whole other level of respect for us, and other people don't want that. And that's why they love to rip him off this team so bad. And Bobby Webster understand this perk and plus to having RJ Barrett on our team. It's something that's really good for our team because it establishes a pride and a connection to our city through somebody who has a real hard wired connection to the city. And that's important. That's important stuff right there. Yeah, think about the narratives from the press and why they do what they do, Shaq Lindsay. You are, and you see it. You see it. That's right. G saying this, I'm glad Yak has had some rest. I think this will be helpful tonight. Yeah, Emmanuel posted something on Instagram yesterday. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Manuel did a little kind of a cold posting of like the chill. He posted himself in a puffy jacket, and then he showed like SpongeBob in a puffy jacket. And then there was all kinds of weird stuff. And he showed Jakob in one picture in a cryogenics machine, standing up straight. Like in the OVO center, they've got some sort of therapy machine for Yak's back that is basically like he's standing and it's all around him and it's shooting cold air around him and stuff like that. And it's really, really good for him in therapy, I think. And I thought it was funny. If you want to see the picture I'm talking about, go to Emmanuel's secondary Instagram account, which is like quickly something. It's not his first account. It's quickly archive or something. And yeah, you'll see the picture of Yak in his ice machine getting a treatment on his back. And hopefully that's been very productive to get him in a good place. You know, he answered some questions about this on Saturday because they keep asking him, do you think this is going to be a problem all year? Your back? Do you think this is going to be a problem? He said, I don't think it will be for sure, but I'm managing it and we just do as it can. Some days are better than others. It's kind of what he's been saying. You know, if it's going to be a chronic back issue, some Raptors fans are going, oh, we need to trade him now because he's broken and he won't be good anymore. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Jakob could have a very healthy stretch for the rest of the year and he'll be absolutely effective for us. There's a lot of different outcomes that could happen. But I'll tell you, I would ride on the health of Jakob Poeltl over Anthony Davis any day. Yeah, some people are trying to compare their missed games with each other, and it's not even close, guys. Come on now. It's not even close. Seymour's here. Good to see the sheriff, Seymour Pate. What pop gang? Tapping in from the Mountain Time region. That's my guy, Seymour Pate. That's right. Holding it down, City Slicker. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. You got to get up early in the morning to watch some Raptor Freak stream. Fiercely saying this, Lex, one team we need to look out for is the Hornets. They beat the Cavs in overtime yesterday. I think Charles Lee is doing a very good job with them. That's what I was trying to say to y'all. You know, that's part of what shaped the dismay of some of the fans right now is the Hornets beating us 2 times recently. No, this team is on the rise. And part of it is getting away from LaMelo. Part of it is Coach Charles Lee. And yeah, a lot of people were saying this on Raptors Reddit after seeing the Hornets take care of the Cavs in overtime. You know, the Cavs didn't score a single damn point in that overtime, Fiercey. They didn't. They didn't. And they did a similar thing to us when we were in that overtime game with Mark Davis on that Saturday where things just went awry. And we shouldn't have lost that game. We got railroaded by Mark Davis. And, you know, I'm just saying Charles Lee and the Hornets are doing a really good job. And this is an excellent point to put out there. It's like, look, the Cavs, you know, in some ways, they're a bigger disappointment than we are because they're supposed to be even better in this league. And their cap and the way that they're set up, they're in trouble if they don't do better than last year. And they're already on path to not be better than last year. So, yeah, the Hornets are for real. They're not necessarily a bottom dweller in the East right now. They're a mid-range team in our league in the Eastern Conference. And we can't look at them as a bottom feeder anymore. They got Conca-Nipple. And Miles Bridges is playing like really determined. A very determined player, Miles Bridges, right now. Yeah. Yeah. Fiercely saying this. David Roddy just goes to the basket like RJ. He's very hard to stop once engaged. I mean, look at the man's body. How do you stop him? What are those symbols? That's cake muscle. No, that dude is big and he's a load. And most people aren't going to try and get in his way. Yeah, David Roddy's awesome. He's very soft spoken and he's been fantastic for the Raptors 905. Absolutely fantastic. Shaq Lindsay saying this. Well, I say be patient, Raptors freaks, because why would we change our course just because they want us to? I know exactly. That's part of trying to screw a team up is they make progress with what they got. And then some people like influence and say, no, you need to get better if you want to do that. And it's gaslighting. It's gaslighting. I do the same thing to the Knicks. Let's do it to them right now. Y'all need Giannis, y'all. New York, get Giannis. What are you doing? You're wasting your year. No, you guys are good, but you could be so much better with Antetokounmpo. Who cares about what the price is? Who cares? Just do it. It's the best thing ever. See, that's the same shit. It's the same shit as people coming here. Get Ja Morant. Get Ja Morant, Raptors. Get Anthony Davis, Raptors. We want to see you burn in hell. It's that kind of shit, you know? It's the same action as what I was just saying against the Knicks. And it's the same kind of shit. Exactly right there. Stargate saying this: I am man enough to admit I was wrong about Khan. Guy is a game changer, and from my perspective, seems like a way more impactful player than Cooper Flag. He should have gotten the hype. I will admit this too, because I think that what you and I, especially this summer, we were very gloaty. We were calling that man, what did we call him? We called him all kinds of crazy stuff. We were calling him like Jeff Hornacek or Jeff Hornacek's a good player, though, honestly. What were we calling him? Gordon Hayward. It's different stuff we were calling him. We were comparing him to other players. But yeah, no, he's been very solid. Literally, he's a solid built player who's very NBA ready and very savvy. He's kind of like Shed in the aspect that he's got veteranness to him, even though he's a rookie. Like Shed came in prepackaged with a lot of stuff from his time at Houston, and Nipple has done the same thing coming out of Duke. Yeah, and I agree. In some ways, some of that overblown hype for Cooper Flag should have been going more towards Nipple, obviously. And once again, the under 25 rankings, so full of shit. And the Hornets fans are pissed that they ranked Khan at 17th and Cooper Flag's number 5. That don't make no sense. What's Cooper Flag done in his NBA career yet? Y'all anointing, once again, some bullshit. Anointing Golden Boys ahead of when they've actually achieved anything. And y'all need to stop doing this. You've been burned on this so many times in the last few years, NBA, with your anointing John Morant, Zion Williamson, Ben Simmons, and people like that. So stop putting the cart before the horse. You need to actually let them achieve and then give them the accolades afterwards. You see, Nipple's on his way to get accolades before Cooper Flag at this point. That's just the damn truth right there. That's right. Fiercey saying, I'd rather they take their time with RJ and not rush his recovery. A relapse could be bad for us. I'm thinking long term, if we want to at least be in the playoffs this year, which we will. I think we will too. Yeah. Yeah, that's a fine line right there. Dr. McKechnie knows the best as far as what we should do with RJ Barrett and when he should come back. And we got to trust in McKechnie. That's right. Trust in McKechnie. Better safe than sorry. That's right. Scott Burville's back. Wow, it's been a while. Scott B., an original Raptor freak from a long time ago. Original from like first year of Raptors show. It's really good to see him, man. He's saying, okay, I'm finally over my mourning of our great president, Masai Ujiri. Praise the Messiah as always. He's always going to be a part of our legacy, always a part of our DNA, always a part of our culture. No matter how much Ed Rogers did whatever he did, it doesn't matter. This man has made his imprint, and it will be long lasting, just like Red Auerbach for the Celtics. This is just how it is. It's like that. That's right. Masai Ujiri, the greatest Canadian sports president of all time. No, it's truth. Just speak truth, please. Keep going. You make your mark on Canadian history and deserve better than you got. Yeah. Yeah. But this is the thing. He knew that axe was going to fall a couple of years ago. So he was bracing for it, and he did it. He came through it with grace. And the great thing is, man, the love that Masai has for the Raptors is undeniable and pure. And, some people, if they knew they were a lame duck and they were going to be on their way out, they would maybe be mad, or they'd act out, or they wouldn't do their job to their fullest. He did right up until the end, because he's that kind of guy. He's that classy. He's that kind of person. And we love Masai forever. Always love Masai. And we'll never, ever, ever let him be forgotten on this channel, ever. No, Scott, it's so good to see you, man. And I love what your point is right here. And you know what? It took you some time, but I'm glad you're back on this and with us again, because of, you were pissed because of what happened, and it was not right. You're right. And the crazy thing is, this man's making $15 million from Ed Rogers still this whole entire year. He's getting paid, and we could have used him as part of the brain trust. But no, Ed Rogers said, you got to go. So Scott B., you got your dunk for this year. You got 5 points on the first year of the Raptor Freak stream. You got 3 last year, and you got your 3 here. So you got your quota. You're consistent, Scott B. You're on here again. You got on the board for this year, right at the end of the year. It's pretty cool. You got your dunk standing up for Masai. I love it. Masai forever. Fuck you, Keith Pelly. Fuck you, Keith Pelly, you piece of shit. Stargate saying, Stand By Me, A Few Good Men, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, so many movies. It's like his acting career was pretty cool himself as a performer, but in some ways his directing career in the hands that he had, Rob Reiner, amazing. Princess Bride, oh my gosh. Spinal Tap, y'all. Spinal Tap. And they're coming out with Spinal Tap 2. They just had it or something. It's crazy, man. Rob Reiner is a comedy legend. And it's tough to be a comedy legend when your dad's a comedy legend also. This is a little bit like Dale Curry, Steph Curry kind of stuff right here, guys. I'm just saying, Carl Reiner is Dale Curry, and Steph Curry is Rob Reiner. In some ways, that's the level of just how amazing the man grew out of his father's shadow. Because Carl Reiner was a comedy giant himself, and Rob Reiner made his own name, and that's important. I know in some ways he had a path because his dad was there, but he took that ball and ran with it and made the best of it, and he put in that work. Seriously, Scott B saying this. Good to hear you again, Raptors freak. Love the new duds, but where's the Raptor stuff? Where's the Raptor stuff? Oh, on the wall. Man, I've been a man in a suitcase for the last month, really, because my house has been renovated and I've been staying in hotels. I've been in Airbnbs. I've been different backdrops. Right now, I'm on the hat wall, and this is kind of a wall that's kind of famous on the show. You can see the different hats behind me. I mean, sometimes I like to put the sombrero on or one of those hats. I'll be outside working the yard. I like to wear that one with the little band behind me, like to the I don't know which side of it is. It's this one, that one right there. I like to wear that one out in the summer, out in the yard. Yeah, this is just a spot in the cottage I'm doing right now the show from. Um, the studio is very cold. It's not actually. It's an own separate building away from this building. And to go out there, I sleep in this building, and I get up in the morning. If I go out the studio, I have to put on the heater, and it's like minus 15 out there. And I'm like, all right, I don't want to do the studio this morning, but I will go out there sometimes and crank it on and be out there. But yeah, the studio, I'm looking at it. It's out the window. It's over there across the snow. I'm not going out there. I'm gonna do it here for right now. And actually, I'll probably do the wall over there with the flag on it very soon. It's just I got up late this morning, and there were all kinds of problems getting in the stream, so I just threw it together right here for today. But yeah, the Raptor stuff it's around. There's a Raptors 905 flag on the wall over there right now. Yeah, but good to see you, Scott B. It's really good to see when longtime Raptor freaks come back and check in with us. Man, this is always a home for you guys. If you can't be here all the time, understand. I don't care. I'm not keeping attendance. I just love to see old friends come and go and say hi when they can. That's what I'm saying. That's right. Fiercely saying this. It'll be nice to see off night later. Yeah, it'll be fun to see Davion. You know that'll be I'm sure there's gonna be some exchanges between him and Shed tonight, and I think that it'll be very fun to see them compete against each other. Because Jamal Shed had a very strong influence from Davion Mitchell in his rookie year. Mitchell and him are so similar that in some ways, like Davion was really a very important teacher for Jamal Shed in his rookie year, and in some ways, it's kind of like a sensei meeting his student. And I want to kind of see them battle. Davion's been fantastic. Him and Powell for the Heat are just Heat players. They're just that kind of player. And both of them said this. Like, it's kind of crazy. Davion and Norman have both said they dreamed of playing for the Miami Heat years and years ago. And them being on that team just makes sense. Heat culture is a real thing. And that's why you want to have like a motif or a culture, a feeling around your team, like the Spurs do, like the Heat do. And we do too up here. Toronto has its own culture and its own kind of stuff around it too. But that's the thing. You get your culture to stand out and be a kind of an identity. So all of a sudden you attract players like Powell and Mitchell to your team because of your culture. And Norman Powell is built for Heat culture. Understand the grind is Heat culture, but it was also Raptors culture. And that's where it germinated and sprouted, was here. And understand the grind was born in Toronto, but understand the grind was a theme of Miami and the Heat also. Yeah, Davion's one of those players too. They definitely meet there. Yeah, his stats are not that great, but he's an impactful on defense. He is a very impactful player on the down low without scoring. And I even found that last year when he played for us. Was it last year or was 2 years ago he played for us? No, it was last year. He played for us the first half of last year, and he had a winning effect. When he was in the starting lineup, we won more. Did you guys notice that when he played on our team? Trendy Views is here. Good to see Trendy Views. Thank you for the subscription. And I hope you're having a fantastic Monday morning. Chucky Hepburn was a menace yesterday. Proud of him. I am a huge Chucky fan. Number 24. Awesome. Yeah, I love Chucky too. He's got a lot on his table these days. He started an NBA career and he's got a newborn baby. And he must be just on cloud nine in some ways with all the new challenges. But I'm sure, as of yesterday, holy crap, an 8 of 9 game shooting, Fantastic stuff. A true leader, too. That's the signs that I like, too, is because the point guard position is really important to set the tone. And in today's NBA, it's tough because there's a lot of players that play that position that don't play the old school mentality of a point guard. And that means getting your other teammates involved and getting them going. And Chucky does that to a T. And in some ways, he did a really good job of balancing his own scoring with the amazing assists he got also yesterday. So, yeah, Chucky's a true leader. And I really like having the depth chart of the point guards on the Raptors right now with Shed and Hepburn. These are true point guards, and they absolutely do the job that Stockton used to do. And that's the kind of point guard I'd like to have on my team. Because look, Chucky could set up everybody else and get everybody else going for 3/4 of the game. But at the end of the game, he's calling his own number and taking that responsibility and being a leader. In some ways, that's like Fred VanVleet stuff. You start getting into that area where it's like, all right, I got us. I'm going to go do it. And he's successful and he's doing it in a winning way. I love it. And the defensive chops of Chucky Hepburn, that's the area he really needs to keep leaning into because that will get him more NBA minutes. Right there. Great to see you, Trendy Views. Thank you for the subscription. And I hope I see you more often. We're here every morning talking Raptors every single day. I have a streak that's gone on for almost 4 years. Actually, it's been over 4 years now. I started this channel and I have not missed a morning in over 4 years. That's 1,500 streams in a row. That's right. Scott B saying this. I need you to bring me up to speed on the year. I got some nice tickets for the New Year's game versus the Nuggets. Cool, man. I'm thinking about going to that game also. We have a tradition, Adriana and I, we usually go to the Raptors game on New Year's or New Year's Day, whatever game's around there. So we usually go to that game. We haven't really got that together yet this year, but we may still do that. This year's been interesting. We get RJ back by then, and we're rolling a little bit better. We have a good chance to beat the Nuggets, but they're one of the best teams in the league, and it'll be very interesting to see us play them on New Year's. I think it's New Year's Eve. Yeah, New Year's Eve is the game this year. Mr. Roger Raymond is in the house, a supporter of this channel. I appreciate you. Good day, Raptor Freaks. The combination of effort on defense, the higher amount of travel for away games wore the Raptors out. They're doing very well given all that. I know. Let's forget about the streaks they've been on, the roller coasters up and down. If we just looked at their record right now and where they are at this point in December, we would all be very happy. They're above 500. They're 15-11. Sure, the record looked way better 2 weeks ago when it was like 14-7 or something like that. But granted, the lumps and the ups and downs of the season are going to happen. And 15-11 records, way better. Think about how long it took for the Raptors to win a road game last year. Think about how long it took for the Raptors to win a game against the Atlantic Division last year. So the progress is definitely there, and the benchmarks can be seen if you look for them. You can look for them. You will see them. Roger Raymond, salute to you, sir. Thank you. G's here. Good to see G. First ever Raptor Freak Trivia champion. If there was one thing to learn from Kawhi, don't get too high and don't get too low. That's like the philosophy of most athletes in all sports. That's the nature of winning and losing, the dichotomy of there will be a winner and there will be a loser. And the percentages each time are different in each case. In fact, let me go look at the percentages for tonight's game. I wonder what they're saying as far as who they think is going to win. I'm pretty sure Miami's probably favored, but let's see what ESPN matchup predictor is saying this morning. Yeah, 63%. They think that it's going to be the Miami Heat winning tonight. And we got 37% of the vote. So, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. There's a lot of people thinking that's what the outcome's going to be. But, I mean, I get it. They're at home. And in some ways they have a easier time being at home with the refs that we got too. So Wayne's here. Good day, Raptor Freaks. Game day. Let's go. That's right. Let's go. Jimmy saying, I don't like excuses. It's an easy scapegoat. I get it, man. If it's a perfect world, people wouldn't get tired. I mean, I get it. In some ways, my criticism was, Darko, if you knew we were going to have so many games in so many days, why couldn't you balance out the minutes more to alleviate the stress and the tiredness for some of the players? But you have an injury with RJ, and everybody gets bumped up in the hierarchy, and they have to use more guys off the bench in the starting lineup. That hurts your depth on your bench, and all of a sudden your team's just not as complete, and it's not stacking up and adding up to the same level of offense because you're missing such a great player like Barrett is. So there's a lot to it. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but the nature of Raptors Nation is so overreactive and dramatic. It's kind of like we do need to kind of explain everything to them so that they can be more educated on how to look at it all instead of just freaking out. It's crazy because I'm called the Raptor Streak, but some of them are freaking out way more than I am about stuff with the team. It's crazy. Yeah, other teams are tired too. I get it. I get it. You know, that's part of the whole thing about the NBA is you're going to meet teams at different places with what's going on with them, whether it's injuries, whether it's they're in a very busy part of the schedule where they're tired. You know, you can meet people on back to back. You know, that all factors into stuff, and sometimes in the matchup for that day. But I get it. It's the NBA, and everybody's going to be ebbing and flowing in different levels at different times. And you may catch a team at a really good time to play them and surprise them. And you may catch a team that you should have beat and you lost to because of this stuff too. So, yeah, I get it. No excuses. Jimmy's about no excuses, and I get that. I respect that. But we also have to tell the story and be real about it and understand the parameters. Because in some ways, if we analyze it and we think about what was wrong here or how did this happen, we can be better and get improvement and progress. That's it right there. Yeah, half a game back from the 10th to the 6th seed. Yeah, it's very tight. And if we continue to lose, we're going to drop. We're going to drop. So we need to win, Scotty. We need to win. I'm sick of this. I'm just like everybody else. That's right. Wayne's saying this. I gather a few Raptor freaks don't really follow different sports and teams per se. Winning and having successful seasons are not a given. Consistency requires hard work and constant upgrade of players. Yeah, we've got young players that are continuing to get better and better. And the aggregate of the getting better of Shed, Walter, Dick, Abaji, Scotty, Brandon, Emmanuel, Barrett, this all adds up to us getting better over time. So, yeah, consistency, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We're just going to have to see how we do, and we'll react to it, and we'll cover it here. And we're all together in one big family in a happy ride. Let's just enjoy it, y'all. We're fans, and we've got a good team to root for at this point. You know, the losing of some of the years since the championship has been miserable. I'd much rather have a team like the one we have right now, where we have a good shot to win on any given night, than a team where, you know, on reaction streams, I'm coming in the next morning to kind of like talk about, well, this is why we should stay positive and this is this, but we're losing a lot more than we're winning. So we got to keep perspective here in some ways. We're on our way up the escalator in the NBA, and we're more in the middle of the escalator, near the upper escalator than the lower escalator at this point, as far as I can see. Yeah, Kaz is saying this. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew. We boiled them lobsters yesterday. That's right. We boiled them crawdaddies good. We served up that jambalaya from Marcy Williams. It was so good. The recipe tasted great, and it was fantastic to see the 905 continue their excellence with a perfect record, 13-0. As I said, tomorrow I'll be doing a stream reaction to the game tonight, but also a watch along, as the Raptors 905 will be playing at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning in Westchester against the Knicks in the G League. And I'll call that game once again, just like Sunday. If you enjoyed my call yesterday, well, we're going to do it again tomorrow. And we'll also be reacting to the game we're watching tonight. That's right. Yeah, Trucker Kaz, always good to see you, my guy. Always good to see my guy, Trucker. Let's see. Fiercely saying archive quick. That's the name of the Instagram account that Emmanuel has on there. And speaking of Instagram, let's go look at the stories. We got Toronto Tempo, and is that the DJ? Who is that? Somebody's got some art. Looks like an artist. Or maybe they've got that blanked out. I don't know what's going on there. Jared Roden over in Paris with some pictures of him playing in action on the Paris team. And he's got this. This is words of wisdom from Jared Roden. The real flex is keeping a good heart when life keeps giving you reasons not to. When you've been lied to, used, switched up on, and counted out. But you still show love. You still got loyalty in you. Still show up for people, even when nobody showed up for you. That's rare. That's powerful, because this world will test you, drain you, and try to turn you cold. And if you still move in with good intentions after everything you've been through, you got the kind of heart they can't find twice. Ooh, I love that. Jared Roden, you're on fire with that. We got Sandro's girlfriend, Mercedes, is in Miami with Sandro. And she's got the picture out the window, and she's saying, thank God for warm weather. She's glad to escape from Canada to go down to Miami for this game coming up right now. Yeah, pretty cool that there. Let's see. As I said, went over this. Fred VanVleet's children were in a Christmas recital yesterday. Fred is teasing in the next episode of Unguarded Fred VanVleet podcast. He has a guest that he's guested with, and they have him blurred out, and they're trying to say, "Who do you think the first guest is, guys?" My guess is the guy we're playing tonight. Seriously, that would be the best first guest for you to have. Seriously, is Norman. Fred, you need to have Norman on your first episode. If it's a Rocket, okay, you had to pick a teammate. But I'd much rather you honor the best friends that you and Norman are and say, Norm, I wanted you to be my first ever guest on my podcast. Come on in. Because that would be cool, especially since Norman is doing his own social media stuff more and more and thinking about going in this realm like you with the podcast stuff too. So I don't know. Who is Fred's first guest on his Unguarded podcast? We're going to find out very soon. And I'm guessing it's Norman, but we'll see. We'll see who it is. They're making a cliffhanger out of it. So it's kind of cool marketing by Fred VanVleet right now with that. So yeah, who is it? Who's it going to be? Scotty Barnes is at the gym yesterday. Brian Macon's new facility, his trainer has a facility for training called the Gem, and it says greatness is built here on the side of the wall. So Scotty was putting in time at Brian's place down south while he's down there. That's right. Jonathan Mobo's got Jamal Shed on blast for his little outfit coming into the game. Yeah, he looks cool. Why are you laughing at him? What's wrong with him in his little suit? His looks like he's a race car driver, and he's got his bucket hat on. What's so funny about that? Why are you laughing at Jamal? Coach Andrew Jones is proud of Heidi for scoring 4 points in the OBLX game at 7. Yo, let's go, Heidi. Celebrating with Boba T. That's right. There you go. Andrew Jones also is proud of the Eagles winning their game yesterday, 31-0. The Eagles over the Raiders. I know Steve's loving that. Andrew in action there. And also he's got Chucky on blast for his great game yesterday, 22-13. And he's on the plane with his daughters and his son going to Orlando. So he's flying his kids down to Orlando right now. But, you still got to go to New York tomorrow, Andrew Jones. You got a game tomorrow, right, in New York State. But the kids and the family will be in Orlando for the trip. So Andrew's not going there. That's right. So the wife is taking the kids down, and they'll be down there when the Orlando showcase starts. Pretty cool. They're probably going to go to Disney World. I'm going to guess they're going to go to Disney World. It looks like Jacoby's posting some music on his Instagram stories. Chris Boucher, what do you got going on here? He's got the bunch of kids doing 6, 7. What is that about? He's still commemorating John Cena's retirement. This is a big deal to him. There's a funny picture. Where did you get your attitude from? And he shows a picture of Steve Austin, The Rock, Generation X from the Attitude Era of WWF. Is where he got his attitude from. Let's see. What else is in there? Manuel Quickly. There's the archive quick post with the yak in the cryogenics right there. And yeah, that's the Instagram story. It's short and sweet. Scotty's at the gym. And Fred, who's going to be his first guest on his new podcast. If you guys have not watched the first 2 episodes of Unguarded, the Fred VanVleet podcast, as a Raptors fan, you need to watch it. It'll be very informative to you about his feelings about our city and our team and a championship and different stuff like that. He's just a real dude. In some ways, there's good and bad in the whole thing. There's good and bad in the whole thing. That's right. Let's keep going. Fiercely saying the symbols for Roddy were a train, as he's like a freight train. That was a train, like a muscle train you made there. That's pretty cool. Kareem Thomas is here. Very, very close fight in the dunk championship between Isaac and Kareem. Isaac had a really good day with dunks yesterday during the main Celtics game. He was hilarious. And now Kareem has some competition to close the year out where Isaac could actually win the dunk championship this year. So we have to see what happens here. Kareem's saying this, Wayne, take a look at what's happening to Denver sports. Broncos, Nuggets, and Avalanche have like a combined 10 losses. That state riding a huge high. So this is easy for this guy. He's a Denver fan of the Broncos. And in some ways, he's like, wow, none of those teams are losing. Interesting. I didn't know that. Denver's just riding mile high. They're riding mile high. That's right. Wayne's saying this. Glad I'm on the island by myself on Detroit Pistons being the most dangerous team in the East and deserving of their current status. They get no respect just because they sucked for a few seasons. Well, this is something Fred actually talks about on his podcast. He talked about how to get the MVP award. It's usually you got to play a couple seasons good, and it's people will see flashes in the pan. Like in some ways, we should probably say Cleveland was a flash in the pan last year, but they're trying to act like they're an established Eastern team. I don't know. Cleveland looked like a flash in the pan last year. So in some ways, Detroit is looking like a flash in the pan so far right now. If they do another year like this next year, maybe they'll get more consideration because of consistency. Because some ways it's like everybody in the league, whether it's a player or a team, can have one really good year and look really good. So that's part of the reason why they don't want to give it to people so easily. It's like, oh, Detroit, they're good. Well, let's see if they can be this good consistently for a couple years. So that's part of it because there's more evidence and time of them being what they were before than what they are right now. And that's why some people aren't willing to like acknowledge it or respect it because they want to see it take and stay for a while. And it's unfair in some ways, but if a team like the Lakers did that and came out of the blue, all of a sudden they'd be touting them like the best thing since sliced bread. But that's the way the NBA is, the way they market it. And in some ways, some people don't want to see the Pistons or the Raptors at the top of the Eastern Conference, and they'll put their fingers in their ears and be like, no, I'm not paying attention. I don't want to see it because I don't believe it. And you'll really have to establish it and make it consistent and year in, year out. I mean, think about the Raptors in the 2010s with our dominance of the Atlantic Division and being a top Eastern Conference team for so many years. How long did it take for them to actually wake up and say, hey, the Raptors are a championship contender? They never actually did say that. We just went and took it because they never actually legitimately ever thought, oh, the Raptors could actually go and win it all. That's what I'm saying. It's perception is not reality. And I'm glad you see the Pistons for who they are. Just understand the media machine of the NBA does not want to see the Pistons for who they are or us if we get in the same position. That's it right there. Wayne saying this, agreed, Kareem. Different ownership. I follow mostly European football, only basketball in North America. I have no idea what's going on with the other Denver teams out there, the Avalanche especially. I have no idea. There's a team in the NHL I didn't even existed. Like they must have expanded and put a new team in the league, and I don't even know who they are. I don't care. That's how little I watch hockey. I don't even know all the teams in the NHL at this point because there's some sort of new symbol I've never seen before, and I don't know what that team is. I don't even care. I haven't even gone to see who it is. It's just like I'm looking at the ticker, watching TV one day, and I'm like, what is that team on the NHL ticker? I've never seen that before. I don't care. I don't care. That's right. Blackhawks coming in with aliens this time. So he's on a Wemby tip all of a sudden. That's right. Wemby. 905 are be tested without AJ, and they're passing the test. There you go. In some ways, the parallels of RJ and AJ being out and their roles and their importance to both the teams. We're doing really good with Andrew Jones and 905 weathering the Lawson absence. Doing real good with that. That's right. That's right. Wayne's saying, Kareem, I can claim Wayne, and I love that spelling. You want to be spelled Wain? That's cool, man. Yeah, Wayne. That's another way of spelling Wayne. Yeah, there's a couple of ways to spell Wayne. Wayne, like a planet or a moon, right? The waning moon, right? Neil's saying this. Heat lost 4 in a row, and we lost 4 in a row. It's anybody's game to win. That's right. Both teams are going to be hungry. Both teams have had the same amount of rest, and one team has the home court advantage. But the other team, well, it's us. Let's go get it. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's saying they're going to blow it up. Even Mobley is overrated. Your star isn't a team player and only plays one end of the court. Your starting point guard is always hurt, and you got a point guard that is trash. I love the Cleveland slander, and I'm going to give Shaq Lindsay a dunk for it because he's painting a picture that they try and paint on us all the time. And, well, I love it. I think that Evan Mobley is overrated. I think that Jared Allen is more important in some ways. I think Donovan Mitchell is not a winning player for a team because he's high volume and low efficiency. I think Darius Garland's a good player, though. And in some ways, I would be keeping him and Allen out of all the players on that team. I'd actually, if Mitchell really threatened to go to New York, I'd say go ahead. It might be better for you in Cleveland, honestly. Some people say, what? Donovan Mitchell? He's so good. I'd be like, you know what? If I was a Cleveland fan and Donovan Mitchell was making overtures and he'd rather play for the Knicks, I'd be like, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Actually, that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone in some ways. It would, because Donovan Mitchell would have the same effect that Giannis would have on the Knicks. He'd destroy them. So I was like, you know what? I think that this is going to get blown up. I think that Mitchell will leave. And in some ways, the Cavaliers will be better for it. Seriously. Because I don't think Mitchell's a winning player. He's a really talented scorer, but he's just too dominant in what he needs, that he doesn't help a team concept for winning. In some ways, they depend on him too much. That's right. That's right. That's right. We got it. That's right. Cleveland, this is for you. That's right. There you go. Yeah, Jimmy's saying this. Cleveland been a huge disappointment this year. Well, that's what I'm saying. They were set up to be so good from last year. Their record last year was amazing. And then they flamed out in the playoffs, and that was a disappointment in itself. Well, this year, they're all coming back expecting to build off of last year, but it's worse than last year. What a letdown. Think about the mind fuck that is. Not just for the fans and Cleveland Nation, but the players themselves on the team going through it like that. I'm telling you, you know where they fucked up? Lonzo Ball. He's like the booby prize. You know, couples get together for a social engagement and they play games or something like that. I remember this. My parents used to play bridge with a group, and they had an ugly statue that whoever lost for the night had to take home, and they had to keep it at their house for the period of time before they played the next time. Oh, you lost, so you got to take the booby prize home. And they'd take this ugly statue and put it in their house. In some ways, Lonzo Ball's blocking teams from success. He did it to the Bulls with his bullshit. And even though he's healthy and he's playing for the Cavs, I don't know. I just want to build this legend up right now. It's like Lonzo Ball is not helping y'all, is what I'm saying. It's right there, right there. That's right. Raptors Champs is back in the house. One of my favorite new Raptor freaks this year. Ryan Nebhard is doing good. I remember him trying out for the Raptors in the summer, but passed on him. Yeah, Ryan Nebhard's playing for the Mavericks. He's their two-way. And, yeah, he's got that same kind of spirit like his brother. These Aurora guys are good, man. They're real competitors, and they're fierce. And, well, Ryan Nebhard, kudos to you. A great Canadian product, and keep going with your young career. I think he's playing with Delano a lot. Delano's been doing pretty good for Texas Legends on the G League team. He's been dropping some 30 double-doubles, 30-point and double-doubles. And so Banton is not totally done with his NBA career, I think, because if he does it right on that level and continues to show, hey, I'm this good, y'all, somebody's going to come and get him again and put him on the NBA. Because right now he's just straight up playing for the Legends, Texas Legends. And I'm sure he's playing with Ryan Nebhard because he gets time down there too. So it's kind of cool to see those Canadian guys playing together in Dallas. Yeah. Wayne's saying this, excellent point on the Pistons. Yeah, this league is like you have to do things to let it take. Think about SGA and the MVP. Seriously. We could have said SGA probably should have got the MVP the year before he got it. But he has to prove himself for a year and then consistently prove it again for another year, and then he can get it. Fred illustrates this point very eloquently on the Unguarded podcast. He's just spitting facts about the league and the way it works on there. It's crazy because he's like me. He has no filter. And he'll go on about the politics of the NBA very openly from the inside as a current player and the president of the Players Association. That's another thing we got to remember with Fred is he is the president of all the players and their representation in the union at this point too. Yeah. Yeah. Kareem's saying this, Donovan Mitchell, LaMelo Ball, that little shit from Atlanta are on teams that are better off without him. Yeah. Trae Young's about to make his return to the Atlanta Hawks. And I don't know, will they be better for it or not? I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, let me get into more of my tabs real quick, guys. Where am I at on my tabs just to make sure I'm getting through stuff? Let's go to Raptors Reddit and just see what they're saying here. They're lauding the 13-0 start for Raptors 905. It's good to see Raptors Reddit paying attention to the G League team for once. This is better. Y'all go look at the G League team instead of talking about the Raptors so much. Maybe you can talk about the greatness of them. This guy's saying this, and I don't even know who this is. This guy's saying this team could use a player like Darren Peterson. Who is Darren Peterson? Is he in college? And that's why I don't know who he is. He's a 3-level scorer, ball handler, elite shooter, creator off the dribble, pick and roll initiator. Raptors lack a star guard. What are you talking about? That's crazy. Their half-court offense is abysmal. Not when RJ's healthy. People just pass the ball to each other at the perimeter and with no one able to penetrate the offense. I don't think you know what you're talking about. People penetrate all over the place. Scotty's penetrating. RJ's penetrating. Brandon's penetrating. I don't know what you're talking about. Usually ends up with a BI ISO difficult pull-up shot. Yeah, that's only right now, bro. Did you watch earlier this season? My shot dream scenario for this year's Raptors is to do the Hawks Mavs style, lost in the play-in and get the #1 pick. But that's just my dream. Oh my gosh, this is like an idiot that wants to do what the Mavs did and get the #1 pick. Okay, you're an idiot. P Skills 43. You're an idiot. I'm just going to say that right now. Sorry. All right, let's keep going. I feel like people panic about the wrong stuff. Is this what somebody's saying on here? I think they're right. I think, and we've been going over this subject today on this channel already. It's like, yeah, people are panicking about the wrong stuff right now. That's right. Oh, no way. That's what that is. Okay, we've got news. In the last 14 minutes, guys, it has been announced RJ Barrett is scheduled to begin return to play activities this week per the Raptors practice. RJ will begin return to play activities this week. He's out tonight. Jamison battle is probable. That's according to Blake Murphy and Josh Lewenberg. And yeah, this is what Doug Smith's saying also. Raptors say RJ Barrett, out since late November with sprained knee, will return to play activities this week. Raptors in Miami to play tonight, scheduled to practice there Tuesday and Wednesday before Thursday game in Milwaukee. No game Friday and back-to-back games on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, that's our schedule this week. We're going to play today, and then we'll play on Thursday with 2 days off, and then we're off Friday, and then we got a back-to-back this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, the picture that was on the Toronto Tempo thing is their jersey, y'all. They're going to unveil their jersey tomorrow is what the news is. Toronto Tempo will reveal their official Toronto Tempo jersey tomorrow afternoon, and they got somebody wearing it, and it's all blotched out, so you can't really see it right now. So, ooh, this is exciting. Some breaking news right here. We're going to get our Tempo jersey tomorrow, and RJ's coming back to play. He's coming back to practice. There you go. Boom goes a dynamite. Woo-wee! That's what I like to see. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, this is awesome, man. This is awesome. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying here. Kareem saying, I'd take Delano Banton in a heartbeat back. Him and Scotty on a fast break was insane. Plus his height as a guard is unmatched. You know, if Delano found his way back to Toronto somehow, some way, it could be good. It could be good. As long as he's mature this time and he doesn't have any of the pitfalls of being a Toronto guy in Toronto as a rookie. There were some issues with this. We talked about this maybe being a problem. And I think there was a problem on the down low. And that may have been part of the reason why the Raptors did not hold on to him, because he did get distractions being in his hometown. RJ had to do his formative years in New York, and he is more mature. And in some ways, he told us in an interview that if he came straight to Toronto as a rookie, he may have screwed up things too. So who knows? Delano goes out and gets experience with Boston, Portland, Dallas, and learns the NBA is what it is. Maybe he'll value and take things a little bit more seriously if he gets a second chapter in Toronto Raptors jersey. Yeah, maybe he would. I would welcome him back. He's a very valuable talent in certain ways. And if he's doing this stuff for the legends on that level right now, yeah, he could be helpful to us. We'll just have to see. Bobby Webster, is that a bridge that's burned? Or is that one that he could maybe come back home to? That's right. That's right. Kaloy's saying this. Morning, Lex and everyone. Good morning to you, Kaloy. Good morning to Santino. Neil's saying this. Darren Peterson will be a top 3 draft pick. Okay, so this guy wants us to tank and get the high pack draft pick. This is an idiot. You know what? I'm going to block him. That's what I've started doing. When people are stupid and they say dumb stuff, you know what I do? I block them because I don't want to see them ever again. You're saying dumb stuff, P Skills 43, and I don't even know who you are. So you're blocked on Reddit now. I don't get to see you anymore because you have dumb opinions. Because you're talking about tanking for a draft pick. And we've got a fucking winning record right now. Dumbass. Dumbass. That's right. Yay. Fiercely celebrating the RJ news by putting RJ's face all over the chat. Thank you for supporting the channel. Raptors champ saying, I knew RJ was back when I saw him getting his hair braided. I love that. Yeah, it's good news. Tired of back-to-backs. Yeah, the back-to-back this weekend, I forget who it is, but it's not too crazy, I don't think. Y'all, let's do the straight goods on goods. Y'all, I got my calendar for next year already. Adrienne is so awesome. She buys me this calendar every year. And, you know, you want to have the Raptors on your wall so you can keep track of all the games like I do. And this is the calendar for next year. It's got Scotty, Grady, and RJ on it. And this is the 2026 Toronto Raptors official calendar. You can get it right now. So if you have a Raptor fan in your life that you want to give them something special, give them this. As Adrienne is consistently giving me this calendar for the last 5 years, she's given me the same calendar. Let's see who's on the calendar this year. Hopefully, it's like mostly players that'll stay on the team. Looks like we got Yak finally made the calendar. He was never on the calendar until this year. There's Grady, RJ, Emmanuel, Oshai's on there too. So if we trade Oshai halfway through the season, I'll have Oshai to remind me next summer. Yeah, I mean, these calendars are funny, but man, these are awesome. These are great. Great calendars. So get your calendar. There's your straight goods on goods today. I know this is probably made in the US, but it's a Raptors calendar. So I'm going to put it on blast real quick. That's right. Neil's saying back-to-backs don't exist in the playoffs, so get rid of them. That's an interesting idea. I mean, if we could do a season with no back-to-backs, that would be ideal, because in some ways they cause, possible injury. They just seem like they're just awkward. You got people having to stay up all night to travel because of them. Yeah, I mean, if we could get to that point, but there's only so many days in the year and the schedule and scheduling with hockey and basketball and arenas in the same places and concerts. And it's just really tough. The puzzle to figure out the NBA schedule is very difficult. And unfortunately, back-to-backs are just a part of the game. In some ways that people would say, well, you only play a 2-hour game and that's really all you do. You should be able to do back-to-backs. I don't know. It's a tough thing. I understand what you're saying. I don't think the back-to-back this weekend's that bad. Let me look at it real quick. I think that when I looked at it, it was kind of like, okay, so this weekend we're playing Boston in Toronto on Saturday, and then we have to go to New York and play the Nets on Sunday. So the first night we play Boston Celtics here Saturday at Scotiabank, and then we have to travel overnight to Brooklyn and play the Nets on Sunday night. So what is that back-to-back too horrible, seeing as the really shitty team is the second night of the back-to-back? In some ways we got to look at the lay of the land for the back-to-back. And also we'll have a day off before the Celtics game on Friday. So that's good. That's good right there. Yeah, let's see. Kareem's saying we just need to give Delano some Raptors gym shorts and a towel. I'm sure he'll come back. I think, all right. Well, he might be very happy to come back here, man. Yeah. Kareem's saying Reddit is crazy. I think everyone on there are loco. Yeah. In some ways, look, social media is going down the tubes. I mean, Facebook's broken at this point. It's gone the same way as X, as Twitter. I really can't look at the feed on Facebook anymore because they really are trying to mind fuck us through our feeds and our algorithms. Seriously, if you doom scroll on Facebook, stop. Because Mark Zuckerberg is not your friend, and he's sending you things on purpose to shape your mind. In fact, there's a lot of Russian manipulation with bots and politics. They're trying to shape your feelings on humanity. They're trying to make people less empathetic and less sensitive and less caring about other people and making people more selfish and individualistic and not giving a shit if other people are getting subjugated to other bad things. So be aware and cognizant while you're scrolling on Facebook or Reddit or X or any of these sites, Instagram also, that they are curating your material that you see, and they are very, very pointedly giving you different stuff on purpose for certain meaning and reasons. Like, it's crazy. I'm obviously very left-leaning and progressive in my ideologies, but they will funnel stuff that's pro Doug Ford, pro Pierre Poilievre, directly to my news feed because they are trying to shape me in a weird way to be a little bit more conservative or right-leaning. Be aware of this, guys, and the conditioning they're trying to put on y'all. Stay true to your values and what you believe, and don't be a soft head and let them influence you with some bullshit just because they have an algorithm and a social media site. Because this is something we all need to be very aware. It's insidious. They can do it on a very low level, and most people won't even realize it's happening, like subliminal messages and commercials and things like that in the past. So be cognizant of this and be very aware of this. This is very, very important. And Reddit will do the same thing with what they put in front of you on their algorithm too. So be aware of this with all these big major social media sites. There's nefarious people putting nefarious things in front of you on purpose for reasons that are not healthy or good in a lot of cases. Trust me. Yeah. Raptors subreddit is a dumpster fire. Reactionary clowns that don't understand it's a long season. That's right. You just go to Reddit for NBA news. Yeah, I get that. So it's December 15th, and we are probably going to see a lot of trades start to happen now. Yeah, well, yeah, the winter meeting's going to happen in Orlando very shortly, and that's really kind of where they start talking. Bobby Webster will be in Orlando with Andrew Jones in 905, and he will be taking conversations with other GMs around the league. And yeah, there may be very well a Raptors move in the next week or so. Trust me, there very much could be. Neil's saying kill preseason so you can start regular season early. This reduces or gets rid of back to backs. Possibly, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean, they've really looked into this. I don't know. They're trying to balance it all. Once again, this is important. They don't want to lose any opportunities to make this. Let's just put it that way. Kareem saying this: killing preseason will cause more early injuries. You actually need the buildup. Yeah, and preseason is way shorter than it used to be. It used to be 8 games, like when I first started watching the NBA, and then it went down to 6. And now they're letting some teams get away with only playing like 4 or 3 games. So they've definitely shrunk preseason already in my lifetime. So yeah, they got to have at least some of it. They really do. Fierce is saying, laughing at Raptors champs, the hair braided comment. Yeah, yeah, with RJ coming back. Yeah, I'm ready for him to come back for sure. That's funny. All right, you want me? I'll give the Raptors champs a dunk for his observation, which I think is pretty on point right here. He's on here, right? We got to have Raptors champs on here. Wait a second, he hasn't got a dunk yet. What is this? What is this? Raptors champs, you're getting on the board. That's crazy. I could have swore you had one already. Could have swore you had. I'm gonna give you a 9 for RJ. A 9. You got a 9 on the dunks. That's right. Neil's saying this build up always happens. Preseason does regulate that. Preseason is just a cash grab. I don't know if that's true. You got to understand preseason isn't just for the players. It's for the facilities. It's for the staffing of the facilities. It's for a lot of people to get warmed up for the season. Just because we hit the ground running with preseason, it looked like we didn't need it this year because we had so much time working together in the summer. Doesn't mean other teams and other places are doing that. And you kind of need to have some games that are gimme games that don't count. I mean, you're always going to have at least 3 preseason games. You can't absolutely axe the preseason. You can't absolutely axe it. And you could say it's a money grab, but a lot of the preseason games aren't well attended. So it's not necessarily a money grab. In some ways, it's like going back to school, orientation. Hey, we're back in school. It's the first day of school, but we're not really going to do any real work. We're just going to come in and be here and take attendance and say hi and stuff like that. It's kind of like that. And the person who said injuries will happen if we don't do this is exactly right. Exactly right. G saying RJ is scheduled to return to play activities with the team this week. You're like 5 minutes late. I did that breaking news already. Cream saying I work back to backs 5 days a week. They make too much money to sit on back to back. You trained your whole life for this. I know. And once again, it's a kid sport. And people talk about this like Fred talked about on his podcast. Being an NBA player, there's a certain amount of time in the day that you do stuff for your team. And there's a lot of time that's free. And what do you do with the rest of that time? How do you spend it? Does it go towards keeping yourself in the right shape, in the right place mentally for you to be the best player you can be? I mean, these guys have lives. And Scotty being on Twitch for a whole summer like that with us, in some ways he was criticized for that. But that's the thing. These guys have a lot of free time and they could be getting into other things. And in some ways, that's part of the reason why I'm like, yeah, back-to-backs aren't as big a deal as Neil's saying, because they're just the nature of the NBA. They always have been. They've been in the NBA since I've been watching them. So I think this is kind of silly. Baseball players play double headers and play 5 days straight. I get it. It's a totally different kind of game and a different kind of exertion. But, there still is kind of like, some people will play basketball every single day straight for like a month and they don't take a day off. They're just playing with their friends out on the court almost every day. There's different things to this. And I can see both arguments. Some people say the season's too long. Some people say that we don't need preseason. I get it. If we could have a season where there were no back-to-backs, that'd be ideal. But we do need them because to jam it all in, we got to do it this way. And all the teams have to deal with it the same way. They all have to deal with them. So let's see. Blackhawks saying we have 82 games. Why do you care about having 6 to 8 games to build up? Someone will always win and lose. Just start the regular season early. Injuries will be less when you get rid of back-to-backs. once again, I mean, if you don't understand my point on why you need a couple of games that don't matter just to warm up to get ready this for the season, the NBA would have gotten rid of it already if they think it isn't absolutely necessary. Think about it. They would have already done this if this is true what you're saying. Kareem's saying this, Neil, you're crazy. You will get injured. Try putting on running shoes in 5 minutes and sprint 200 meters. You will pull a hammy. Either way, I don't want to go over this too much. Neil said he would like to get rid of preseason. We have him on account for that. But either way, it's an interesting topic. But we don't need to go any further with it right now. All right, guys, we had the end of our fantasy week yesterday, and week 8 was an interesting week because we had to deal with the NBA Cup break. And I'm so proud of myself. Amit was kicking my butt all week long. He kicked my ass. And the last day I rose up and beat him yesterday, getting a fantastic outcome to keep my record 7-1. He really was going to try I thought he was going to beat me. And actually he could have made some subs and maybe could have beaten me. But alas, old Lex came through in the end and made that comeback from behind victory against Amit's fantasy champion squad. Yeah. Also, congratulations to 8C staying perfect with his 8-0, beating Bryce. Cool Cat got her first win of the season this weekend, beating Mike and Logical Raptors Fanatic. We got to thank James for winning his game. He's now a 7-1. Very impressive. Duke Rocks winning 6-2 over Gerald. We got Andrew winning over Omari. And Kaz won his matchup. He's 7-1, just like me, beating Kareem. And MK, a 6-2 record, our WNBA 2-time champion, winning a game over Nins. So congratulations to all the winners this week. Week 9, we keep going. So find out your matchup. I'm playing James this week. And get your lineup set up in the Yahoo Fantasy League we're playing right now. Man, I'm so proud of that one, man. Seriously, I thought he was going to beat me. And I really worked hard this weekend to get my team set up straight so that I could come back from behind and beat Amit. Yeah, that's right. Neil's saying, okay, we're still going on this. When you play sports, your body needs recovery. You can force recovery with a cold plunge, but you can't account for injuries. Well, I'll agree to disagree. Yeah, I think that this is where I stand, and we'll just stop it here. Preseason is necessary at least 3 games. That's what I'll just say. I don't know if you need more than 3 games, but I think 3 games is enough. And I think that Neil's got some good intentions as far as like he just wants to help with everything and make it all work better. But I don't know if it's feasible. Like I said, the NBA would do it if they could, right? They do it if they could. I would think, right? That's the way it is, right? All right, let's do the classic card, guys. We don't have a birthday today. Nobody born on the day today. That's right. NBA needs to change the format of the All-Star break. That's what I think. That could be good. Or maybe we just run the season a little bit longer into the summer. I don't know. It's tough, man. There's a lot of different things that could be done to mess around with it. But 82 games is very important for the standard of the whole entire league and how long we've been doing it. All right, here's the classic card, guys. I want the full name answered. It's not very classic. So if you know who this player is, go ahead and put it in. Full name answer, please. You can see him. He looks very scared on the picture. Why are you so scared? It's Capital One. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Kaz has got it. Of course, this is Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls, the young superstar on their team. And spelling counted. You guys did a good job. Slug Deezy, you're just behind, and you got an extra letter in there, too. So Trucker Kaz is going to get the classic card today. And we're going to make it a 100-point card. How about that? 100-point card for Trucker Kaz on the classic card of the day, Kobe White. Kobe White. All right, I'm going to do my rundown. We're close to 2 hours. So get your comments in really fast now if you got any more. We'll do the rundown. I'll go over the injuries once more. And then we'll do the refs, and I'll do a little bit of talking about how the Raptors can win tonight. So, all right, 100 points for Kaz. Awesome. Good stuff. All right, let's see. All right, y'all. So the injuries for tonight, we've just gotten news that RJ's going to resume practicing this week, and hopefully will be returning in the near future. Maybe he'll be back for the game against the Celtics on Saturday. And who knows? Maybe he's doing a first night of the back-to-back, but he rests against the Nets. So I can see him not playing tonight, not playing against Milwaukee, but playing against the Celtics, and then not playing against the Nets. So just to kind of ease him back in. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Jamison Battle is probable for today. He should return to the lineup because of his ankle, but maybe Darko doesn't play him and keeps him out of the rotation just because he's still kind of iffy. That could be. And AJ Lawson is out day to day still. It's undisclosed what's going on with AJ. Exactly. On the other side of things, Miami has a couple injuries. Terry Rozier is out for FBI. Pelle Larson is out because of his ankle. And Kasparis is probable to play tonight. The referees for tonight's game, Carl Lane, Star Wars lover, is the crew chief. He favors the Miami Heat. Kevin Cutler is the referee. He favors the Miami Heat. And Jonathan Sterling is the umpire. He favors the Miami Heat, all statistically favoring the Miami Heat. All right, guys, this is the thing. This is a team that's in the same position as us, pretty much the same record, pretty much the same kind of things have been happening in the last 5 games, a 1-5 record on a 4-game losing streak. So they're dangerous. And they're also Eric Spoelstra and Heat Culture and Davion Mitchell and Norman Powell, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero. We can't play around. Much like the Knicks, this is a team that has veteran experience and high-level playoff experience. And in some ways, that's why we can't make any mistakes against this team. And, you know, I'm not going to make any excuses for y'all if y'all play sloppy tonight because you're rested. And you should be coming correct to play to the best of your ability because you don't want to mess around with this game tonight. We need to stop the slide, and they do too. So who wants it more? Do they want it more, or do we want it more? Scotty, do you want it more? Go take it. Brandon, I hope you make your shots, and I hope you're very, very careful with the ball. Emmanuel, I hope that your shot's going in and that you're getting your teammates involved. So, yeah, and Yak, I hope it's a good back day. Let's just put it that way. I hope it's a good back day. So you're absolutely the best Pirtle you can be. So these things are going to matter. This game's going to be a good test. In some ways, I would say if our bench shows up and these guys play better than normal, we could have the better bench between these two matchups, but it may be tough. You know, they do have young players like Vasquez and Ware coming off the bench. They're very, very good players. And we got to show that we have good players off our bench too. Sandro, Oshai, Grady, and Jacoby, and Jamal. So, yeah, we're going to look forward to a Shed versus Mitchell matchup and all the other fun stuff that comes with this game. Norman, we love you, but we got to beat your ass. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Raptors, once again, I'll say the way you win is you out-Raptor the other team. And we know the battle between the Heat and the Raptors in recent years has been so scrappy and so physical and so competitive. And I fully expect that once again tonight. So the team that wins is usually the one that outworks the other one. It's usually the one that gets the loose balls faster. It's the one that absolutely puts in the effort stronger than the other one is usually going to win. So make your open shots and get after the ball correctly. Y'all aren't tired no more, so no more excuses. That's what I say to that right there. Yeah, Kaz is saying W Stream, W Community. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you for getting the classic card, Kobe White. And Kareem's saying, Lex, you need to put on one of them fedora hats behind you if we win tonight. It's against Miami, so it's fitting. You know what? I'm going to do it. You asked me to do this a couple of times last time I was on this wall. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put on the one that I wear out in the hat. Actually, I'll put this one on today. I'll put this one on today. All right, here we go. Yeah, you want me to put a hat on? I'll put a hat on. There you go. There you go. And you can see this is old Lex at his house in the yard out there gardening. This is old Lex out in the yard gardening. You know, and remember, get your calendars, y'all. Get your calendars. They're fantastic. This is the calendar for last year. This is this year's calendar. Yep. And all right, yeah, we're about done, y'all. Yeah, you like it? Yeah, you like it. Yeah. Yeah, so put it up like that. A Recondo from G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I'm talking about? Recondo, the jungle specialist. He had like a hat that was on one side like this. Recondo. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, either way, man. If I made Kareem's day by putting a hat on, I've done my job here. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your Monday. Raptorize your day. Do it the right way, like Nav Bhatia. Touch grass if you can find it underneath all the snow. And, let's go Raptors. I believe in y'all. And tonight will be a good test to see if y'all can beat a team that's hungry just like y'all are. Because Miami Heat ain't going to roll over for y'all. Y'all going to have to go get this win. You're going to have to beat them. So go beat them. That's what you got to do. Yeehaw! Let's go! Trevor J to the game.